For human players who enter the world of Tyria, you begin exploring the vast and beautiful zone of Queensdale, learning the basics of the game and completing your first objectives. But as you leave Queensdale behind and begin exploring the vast world of Tyria located outside of it, Kessex Hills is often your first destination. The second zone located in the region of Kryda and an all-around incredible area. Today, I want to take some time to go across the zone and highlight my top 10 favorite things found within. So let's get started. In the number 10 spot is the Tower of Nightmares. Starting off the list with something that is maybe mildly controversial, we have the Tower of Nightmares, which is a super interesting area from Living World Season 1. There are two reasons why this might be controversial. One is how it is pretty difficult for players to interact with anything inside of the tower due to there not being many people that play it, and two is how it changes the map. But how it changes the map on the other side of the coin is really cool. The original Living World was called the Living World because it was designed to take the original game that we got in 2012 and make it feel like a living and breathing world, where the Tower of Nightmares is a direct result of that design philosophy. For a long time, it was in a bit of a rough spot given the fact that you couldn't really play through any of the content, but with the reintroduction of Living World Season 1, it is nice to go through there if you are able to find a group that is happening to play through it. But I just have a ton of nostalgia with this place and playing through it during Living World Season 1 and then again with its reintroduction. And while there are quite a few rough spots, I definitely had to add it to this list. In the number 9 spot is the Help Matlal collect truffles for her starving tribe task. I talked about this task in a recent video, so I'll keep it short, but this is just a super silly activity that you can participate in as a part of map completion. You can find Matlal in the Isgarren caves and chat with her about helping her feed her nearby tribe. In order to help her, she will cast some magic onto you that transforms you into a pig. You can then run around the caves, sniffing for truffles, collecting some of them, fighting back against any grubs, and bringing the truffles back to Matlal. You can also help out in a couple of other ways as well, should you wish to do that instead, but largely this is just a super silly activity that creates a fun task. In the number 8 spot is Viathan Lake. This is the largest part of the map where you have the Tower of Nightmares located in the center of it, and the task we just talked about in a cave along the shore. We can also talk about Viathan's arm that leads towards Triskel Quay, which is an incredible fishing village, and this part of the lake is super cool as well. Throwing all of the aesthetics and various activities that take place in and around this lake aside, one of the coolest aspects about Viathan Lake is its name. This location was named after the Leviathans, massive underwater creatures who you can typically find in the Unending Ocean and Sea of Sorrows. But there was a rumor that a Leviathan had been in this lake, which leads to many different stories from many different people, but it was just a rumor and a fun tale to support the name of this location until the Secrets of the Obscure expansion, where it is revealed at the Museum of Curiosities that there was in fact a Leviathan that was magically transported to this lake by the crate population and was eventually killed by fishers after depleting much of the food source in the lake. In the number 7 spot is Black Haven. There are many different line guard havens, seraph strongholds, and various other fortifications in this map, but this place in particular has always stood out to me. It's a really beautiful part of the map and is located on the crossroads of Gandaren Fields, Queensdale, Garenhoff, and the roads further west into Kessex Hills. I have a lot of nostalgia of just spending a lot of time at this place because it is a pretty solid fortification in this map. You got a merchant, an armorer, and even a couple of Blackline traders offering trading post services to players. There are some events that happens in, around, and starting from this haven. There's a fun vista to grab, and it's just an all-around cool location. In the number 6 spot is Poobadoo, one of the best quaggins in all of Tyria. This little guy wanders around Viathan Lake and some surrounding areas and serves as a guild bounty, where players and guilds are occasionally instructed to track down this poor little quaggin and capture him. But what's his crime? Well, it's licking people. Poobadoo likes to wander around the map and attempt to lick anyone he can come across, including you. So while it is definitely a decent idea to try to correct this behavior, maybe stabbing him over and over isn't the best path to resolving this conflict. I mean, he's just a little quaggin. In the number 5 spot is the Blackroot Cut Graveyard, an absolutely phenomenal area located in the northeastern corner of the map, further northeast from Blackhaven. You have the Blackroot Cut region, which features a really fun hero challenge. But there is a massive graveyard all around this area that is incredible to explore. I love this marshy area with the big tree and ruins that serve as a backdrop. I love the few gravestones, coffins, skeletons, and other decorations sitting around, And then I love this mausoleum-esque area in the back as well. There's just layers of history to this relatively small place, with this being an older graveyard that is still in use. Alongside all of that, there's a bit of a bigger story taking place outside of the Shadow of the Mad King one. The humble gravekeeper here is Hammond, who's a little more than meets the eyes. Apparently, he claims to have been looting the graves around here and claims that he is willing to show you them, where as you do so, some flesh reavers will appear and begin attacking you alongside Hammond himself, who turns on you and uses some necromantic abilities. In the number 4 spot is the Battle of Fort Salma. This is one of the 2 meta events that you can find in the map and is always the one that I think of when I think about this map. It consists of 3 big events with a bunch of other events that take place depending on the success and failure of other events. Where the main events have you defending this bridge, then launching a counterattack against the Centaur forces, before eventually attacking and defeating the Wrathy Overlord who leads the Centaurs in this area. The event chain, alongside all of the other events, is super fun and is one of those meta events from the original launch of the game that is not necessarily important, but is still super fun to do if you enjoy participating in events that feel like they have a major impact on the world. But once upon a time, this event chain was a lot more important than we see it today. You see, most people are familiar with the dailies and weeklies that you can do through the Wizard's Vault, but way back in the day, back when dailies were pretty different than how we see them today, we also had monthly achievements, and there were a bunch of them, but some important ones to note here is gaining experience, killing veterans, and killing champions, where this event chain, for whatever reason, gained a ton of popularity, where players, including myself, spam these events over and over to progress these monthly achievements. In the number 3 spot is the Collapsed Observatory jumping puzzle. It is a pretty safe bet whenever we highlight a map that if there is a jumping puzzle, I am going to talk about it. For this jumping puzzle is just super fun. On the scale of difficulty, it is on the upper end of easy. It is pretty short to complete and the jumps are pretty easy, but there are a couple of tricky jumps that newer players will definitely struggle with a bit as they continue to learn how to play Guild Wars 2. But it's not so challenging to the point where it feels overly frustrating, and it actually feels pretty rewarding to progress through here. The vibes and aesthetics of this entire puzzle is super cool as you follow a river up a couple of short waterfalls and into this cave, where you got some scaffolding and ancient ruins inside of this cave that you are navigating through before eventually reaching this really cool area at the end. If you fall, there are a bunch of tunnels that you can navigate through with some trolls and other scenic locations you can look at. In the number 2 spot is a general area, and it is the Cereboth waterfall, cave, and river. The beginning of this river started in the Collapsed Observatory jumping puzzle that we just talked about, and you can follow this really cool stream north through the map. I love how beautiful this area looks with all the minor details that help make this place what it is. You can then continue following the river to where you meet the waterfall, and this is just an absolutely gorgeous waterfall. This is one of my favorite scenic shots in all of Guild Wars 2, and I've used it here and there in various videos on my channel. And we as a player base are incredibly lucky because ArenaNet decided to add this vista here. Once you're done watching the vista, you can drop down the waterfall to the other part of the river. But if you turn around, there are a couple of entrances to a really cool cave system that you can explore. I love this area a lot with all the different turns, a bunch of different monsters, some rocks that cover the path, a lot of vegetation, and so many other things going on. Then you can simply continue following the river north where you can eventually reach Blackhaven once again. I love how this river continues northwards with all the different details around here. I love this big bridge going over the river that connects Blackhaven to western Kessex Hills, and I just love all of the other small details around here that really makes this river a special place. Kessex Hills is a zone that has a lot of really big geographic areas like Viathan Lake, and this is just another example of that done phenomenally well. But now for the number 1 spot, for my favorite thing in all of the Kessex Hills, and it has got to go to Garenhoff and the Wizard's Tower. This is such an incredible area in Guild Wars 2 that is one of the most popular locations for players to visit. I like this place so much, in fact, that one of the first Guild Wars 2 top 10 videos that I ever made was completely dedicated to this one little area. Garenhoff is just a super fun seaside mountain village that looks absolutely beautiful and feels like a bustling civilization in this corner of this map. There are so many fun things like the mountains with the strawberry patch, and the vista and how you can reach this area from the Collapsed Observatory or past the Cereboth waterfall. The various other mountain passes, the houses and streets and docks that make up the structure of the city, the special arcane eye base hidden inside of the mountains, this incredible gate that leads to the area of Tyria, once known as the Delestial Seaboard, and is now connected to the Dominion of Winds. There are a lot of sheeps and rams up in the mountains just hanging out and looking down on the village. There are a lot of different buildings that you can enter. There's so much ambient dialogue all around here, and there are just so many other fun details around the city where you can really spend a long time here exploring everything. And of course, Garenhoff itself is just one part of this area because there's the massive Wizard's Tower. This is an incredible looking structure that is one of the most popular structures in all of Guild Wars. Going back to the original game, this was a super cool location that featured an iconic quest. And in Guild Wars 2, players dreamed about being able to enter the tower until that dream became a reality and the secrets of the Obscure expansion. Just all in all, Kessex Hills is a really great map, but this corner is just something special. And that's my list. I hope you enjoyed. This map is one of the most played maps in all of Guild Wars 2, and so many new players make their way through this iconic area of the world. There are so many things in this map, and I could only touch the surface of them. If you want to dive deeper into Garenhoff, feel free to check out that video that I made about it that I mentioned earlier. I hope you all are taking great care of yourselves. Have a good one, everyone.